it's really easy for us as men to just allow our spouses to kind of make the decisions instead of us being like, that's not how we're moving. We're moving here. A woman is attracted to a man with a plan. A man with a plan. What's the plan, bro?
Hello, my name is Mrs. Melanin.
And I'm BELEAF Mel.
And we are here with episode 232 of
How Married Are You? Okay, my name is BELEAF. This is Yvette. We married 14 years. Live in California. We got 4 kids. Relationship scary, very necessary. Sure, I love our struggles. Ask how married are you? Every Tuesday and Thursday. Shorty.
Can we do this over?
If you're listening, you're in the wedding party. It's okay if you want to put your hands up. You got the questions. We got the answers.
It's chocolate baby story time.
Chocolate baby story time.
It's chocolate baby story time.
1, 2, 3, and...
All right.
It's chocolate baby story time.
Okay. So, Theo's starting to become a little content creator, coming up with little videos here and there. Today, he had the content creator blues is what I call it. When you start a video and you don't finish it.
I have that all the time.
Yeah, he started a video where he was gonna do like one of those like, hey guys, I have to clean the kitchen. It's all done. You know what I'm saying? And then it was done.
Where has he seen that before? On the YouTube channel they watch?
Yeah.
Which one?
Yeah.
What's it called?
Dude Perfect.
Oh, Glenn's like...
Titties is popping out. Titties can't be popping out.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So anyway, he didn't finish, and I told him that I was like, bro, you got to finish your video. So I thought it would be smart to have you clean, have him come in and snap after you cleaned it. But we'll see if you finish it. That's really important.
Mm-hmm.
What about you, man?
Okay, guys, we are having this conversation. So I don't know if I've ever mentioned this on this podcast, but Anaya has been asking me to comb out my locks, like for a very long time, because she really wants my hair to be a reflection of her hair, etc., etc. And I'm kind of like, girl, I'm not combing out my locks. I've come too far. It'll be 3 years in January, which I'm really excited about. I'm trying to figure out if I'm going to color my hair or not, but we'll see. And we are now, today I did a 2-strand twist on her. I mean, sorry, I'm giving away that we recorded this, but changed our clothes.
Bulk shooting.
We did a 2-strand twist on her hair, and she's like, oh, I look like you. And before today, we had kind of been talking about, like, I saw this woman who started micro locks on her hair probably when she was Anaya's age, and now she's like in her late 20s, and she's like, I don't regret it at all type thing. And I showed Anaya this girl's TikTok, and she was really fascinated by her hair. And I was like, I think you would be beautiful, like with micro locks.
Or without it.
Or without it, of course. I was like, I think this would be a great hairstyle for you. And she like was entertaining it, and then she wasn't, and then she was, and then she wasn't. But today when she got the 2-strand twist, she was like, oh, I like it. And she's been doing a lot of this action, like moving her head back and forth and like feeling her hair shake and stuff. And so I think we might be on the brink of something beautiful, y'all. Like I think Anaya may be on the verge of getting micro locks, and I am so excited to welcome her into the lock family.
Yeah.
I hope she does it. I'm not going to force her. It's just a continued conversation until she's like, okay, I'm ready to pull the trigger. But I think she's ready because I showed her. So what happened was, sorry, I'm still doing my chocolate baby story time. What happened was, I went on YouTube and I was like, little girl with micro locks. And then she saw another little girl that was probably maybe even a little bit younger than her. And she was like, is that what my hair would look like? And I was like, I think so. I mean, texture changes things, but I think it would look pretty similar to this. And she was like, I want it. So we reached out to a friend who does locks. Actually, she may have texted me back. And we'll see. I asked her. She said she doesn't, but she does have a colleague that she would recommend. Nice.
Right, boom.
All right.
Well, just so you know, I started the lock journey.
He did.
In the family. Before I was bald head, You know what I'm saying? With the beard, I had them hanging. I think my hair was about as long as yours, and before I cut it, maybe a little bit shorter.
Yeah, I don't think it was this long.
Yeah. And before we got engaged, I cut it. Yeah, before we got engaged. And then Theo had locks,
Mm-hmm.
and Raya had locks too. The only person that probably won't get it is Uzi, because his hair, he's tender-headed, first of all, and his hair doesn't grow long. You notice that?
Raya's hair?
Uzi.
Oh,
he doesn't have a
Uzi.
thick head of hair.
Well, I don't think we've done a good job like tending to his hair either.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I hear what you're trying to say.
Like, I don't think, yeah, his hair doesn't really grow like that, but also we haven't combed it out, and done all of that with it either.
I mean, I've seen a bunch of different textures of hair because I used to cut hair, and I don't think he's got a lot of growth to go.
Mm.
I just think his hair is like super. Maybe we probably should start feeding him differently, a little bit more vitamins. I think that might help. Okay. Anyway, man, welcome Black. We have something special for you. All right. So last episode, we talked a long deal about, is the feeling to be in love important, right? And in the comment section, y'all did y'all thing. I ain't gonna get into it, but I want to say very specifically, we do have a course for you for very, very cheap. If you are newly married, engaged, single, dating, this course is for you. It's very inexpensive. It's called the Premarital Advantage. Now, for those of you that don't go to church, right? Or if you do go to church and your church doesn't offer premarital counseling, this is something that you might want to take to even think about going to premarital counseling, because premarital counseling is very important, because you usually have someone that's kind of walking you through a lot of the things with marriage. Sometimes that's your pastor, which I don't really suggest, because the pastor should be doing other stuff. You know what I'm saying? But there should be a ministry of some sort that has premarital counseling a part of it. Or you should go to an actual therapist or counselor to have this done. But what we go through is everything we learned in premarital counseling and everything we wish we would have talked about in premarital counseling. We have it in this course. It doesn't replace premarital counseling. It's a supplement. So please check out the Premarital Advantage in the description or the show notes or wherever. While you're there, like this video, dang it. Y'all ain't been liking the videos, man. And I hope you guys have been enjoying us going live sporadically and stuff like that. But make sure you send this to a friend, right? If this is your safe place, right, and you're like, man, I just love this and I don't really tell nobody about this podcast, knock it off, okay? Share the podcast with some people. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's important that you show love, you know what I mean? We also have an email list on How Married Are You? Go to the How Married Are You website. It's really dope, okay? You get to learn a little bit more about us. You get to see a timeline of our relationship and stuff like that. So a lot of the questions that you may have, they're right there on the website. So make sure you go to howmarriedareyoupodcast.com. Okay, howmarriedareyoupodcast.com. Yvette's gonna go ahead and knock us with this email. Okay, and if you do want to send us an email, make sure you call this number that is gonna show up on the screen right now, or Yvette can say, or you can email us at hello@howmarriedareyout.com. That way you can stay up to date and in tune with what we got going on. And also, if you need like if you have a question that you need answered or you want to talk to us about something, you can go ahead and do that. And that number it's a voicemail, 727-619-4629.
Typically, you don't have to say one.
Well, some of y'all might be calling from out of the country.
True.
We are in the United States.
Very true.
Right.
Good point, babe.
Yes.
Okay. This email is loaded. I just want to preface it by saying that.
How loaded?
Is loaded the question? The answer? I think more so heavy. It's heavy. So just prepare your heart. Okay.
Yeah.
Hi, Glenn and Yvette. I am a longtime listener and first-time question asker. LOL. My husband and I have been married for 4 years, and we've been through a lot within those years. Within our first year, our child went to be with the Lord, which unearthed something in us, which in retrospect was a foreshadow of the upcoming years. During grieving, something was getting highlighted to me by the Lord, so I went to investigate. I found that my husband was on a dating site and had pictures of naked women. We're both believers, which is why it saddens me to even send this message. I'm reaching out for hope. I love him, but it's like I'm with a con man. When we were dating, he was dependable, reliable, and made me feel secure and heard. But now everything has changed. Before we got married, I laid out everything that was important to me. 1, a spiritual leader as God intended. 2, a clean home. 3, teamwork. 4, being transparent with each other, including financial things. 5, growing together. He had a business when we started dating that even now it's been stagnant. So the financial burden has been mostly on me. He has dug me into a financial hole with his inconsistent income that he doesn't tell me when he gets paid. He somehow got into my bank account and drained my accounts. When he is home, he walks through the mess he makes like it's invisible, leaving me to clean up not only his mess, but our child's. I feel like his mom most of the time, teaching him the basics like clean up after yourself after cooking, don't leave the cabinets open, etc. We have a baby that he doesn't help out with most of the time. I'm exhausted. I might have been alone, then married him. Oh, I think she's saying I might as well have been alone than marry him. I'm basically a single mom with a marriage license. It feels like I'm raising both of them at the same time, and that was not what I signed up for. Is asking for him to clean up after himself too much? Is asking him to pay me back too much? The money that I earned going to a 9-to-5 every week while taking care of our child. Our marriage is struggling because of his porn addiction and being on, what is OF? Or is
OnlyFans.
Oh, being on OF and dating sites. He said he's been faithful. That's between him and the Lord. However, my trust for him has shattered. I've tried talking to him. I had to threaten to leave him for him to take me seriously. We are searching for therapy for his porn addiction, which would be another financial burden on me, and marriage therapy. When should I say enough is enough? Should I walk away with my child and wash my hands? I don't believe in broken marriages. I'm trying to avoid this at all costs, but I feel like I'm in this on my own. I want to show my child that there is another way, that grace does cover a multitude of sins, that God still restores. Any advice will help. Thank you for your time. She did send another email 11 minutes later saying the worst thing is that he shows no remorse. Would you have rather me ignore this email?
No, I mean, I think that this gives me the kind of tired I get when watching like a Tyler Perry movie.
I'm sorry for chuckling.
You know what I'm saying? No, because I'm like that was exhausting to hear. Mm-hmm. So to live
Imagine living it. Yeah.
To live it is like, man, I think that I hate that I'm about to say this. Leave them. Now, I know there are some church folk who will be like, with God brought together, no man should separate. And the Lord can do a mighty work. Sure. I would say that you being away for a season, get out of there.
So do you mean divorce or like legal separation?
You gotta get out of the house. He gotta fend for himself because obviously he don't want no parts of you. He don't want to be with you. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's not doing anything honorable.
Yeah.
Where is I don't know, man. I feel like a bad Christian for telling her to go. But what am I supposed to say? Like, what describes this man? I mean, to lose a child, to spiral, and then him to just kind of like, he's already chosen what he wants to do. He's not working, really. He don't help out.
He's basically stealing money from her.
And he a thief.
Which I feel like that's a podcast episode in and of itself, having separate finances.
Yeah, having separate finances. This the type of person that, like, I don't know, man. Oh God. What do you think, ma'am?
So I have a really hard time reading these types of emails because I know, as for me in my house, I don't think I would be able to stand in it. But I'm trying to think. Like, the thing about it is I don't know her husband. I don't know how she shows up in the union. You know, I don't know a lot of things. All I know is her side of the story. And it sounds like this guy is no good. And so I'm inclined to be like, peace out.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm inclined to say, okay, leave him. I think a legal separation would probably be good because it does sound like he is willing to do therapy and things, even though it's at her penny. Like,
yeah,
I would say for marriage therapy, you pay for that. But for his porn addiction, he needs to pay for that. He needs to figure out a way to pay for that.
But if he doesn't see it as a problem?
His porn?
Mm-hmm. Because this isn't like fruit bearing believing. Like, I'm assuming he's a believer of some sort. She said she got married to a con man.
Well, she did say they're both believers, and that was why.
Right. So there's no evidence of his faith. Right. So I could see if someone was like, yeah, he's not of the Lord. Like, I already knew what I was getting myself into. He's not a believer. He's just right. Then it's kind of like, sure, that you knew what you was getting into. You kind of have responsibility here.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Right. There is, there's a responsibility for the person that, said yes. You know what I'm saying? I will marry you. But then if you married a liar who doesn't submit to leadership, isn't in any type of community, can't be checked. I don't like people who can't be checked, man. I mean, I don't like them, but I don't do life with them.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't, if you don't have no type of accountability or nobody can be like, hey, you tripping. I can't rock with you because if I say it, I'm going to stand on it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going to let you slide with it.
Mm-hmm.
So, I would love to just
hug her.
No.
I want to give her a hug.
You want to give her a hug. Okay. And I'm not saying she don't need a hug, but she don't need a hug from me, right? She needs a hug. I would say, I would love to hear, I would just like to say, what do you have to say for yourself? What do you have to say for yourself? Like, this is how you're leading a person in life, right? This is how you're collaborating. This is like,
I feel like the other thing about this situation is his behavior could be in alignment with some form of depression. Would you be in agreement with that?
I could see how that aligns, but being a thief is parasitic.
Mm-hmm.
It's, you know what I'm saying? Like, I could see how some of the lusting and lack of self-control can be a sign for like, you may be dealing with something, especially like to have your baby die. Right? That can make you spiral into like, I'm not really rocking with God right now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand that.
Mm-hmm.
I know people who took that route.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing about sexual immorality or sexual impurity is that you're not just sinning against yourself, right? You're sinning against your spouse and God, right? So it's like your choice is like, all right, cool. That's what you want to do with your life. but there's no evidence of your faith. Now, I'm not saying this isn't redeemable because God has done work on a crazy amount of work. For me, though, life is too short to deal with that every day, man. It's just not.
It's a lot.
It's too much, man. Like, can you take a day and breathe and not cry, like alone? Like, imagine being in that relationship and trying not to cry every night. You know what I'm saying? Like, not saying that you be crying every night. I don't know. But it's like, just that weight of just being like, dang, like, I'm always dealing with this stuff and it's not going anywhere. Somebody asked me one time, because I was dealing with a relationship that was really tough. And they were like, you know, they were like, oh, is this person like stressing you out? Or they're a bad person? I was like, no. And they were like, well, you know, they kind of messed things up for you, right? They missed the mark or they dropped the ball. I was like, they didn't miss the mark or drop the ball. They gave me poison. Like miss the mark is like, oh, well, things didn't go as they should. You were just slightly askew. Nah, you poisoned the water and served me that on purpose because you didn't want to deal with your crap. You know what I'm saying? And as men, you know what I'm saying? As a husband, you got to protect your spouse from you. You got to protect your spouse from you. I've said this before, but it's very true. It is a level of like, I'm out of control right now. How do I protect? I'm okay treating myself bad, but I don't want this as a protector. I don't want this to spill over my spouse. So how am I going to get this under control, right? A part of that protection is being in community of some sort, like being in relationship or being held to a higher standard. And I don't know how long time has been between when they first got married. I guess it's 4 years. But to be dealing with this every day for 4 years, I want my sister to have peace. I want you to have peace. You know what I mean? There's a scripture that talks about like it's better to live on the roof than live in a home with a mean and quarrelsome wife. But if you are married to a husband that is kind of evil, you know what I'm saying? Like in his ways, I would say that it's better for you to not be with him. You know what I'm saying? But this is not marriage advice. So make sure you go see a real counselor. You need therapy. Yeah. Because you are in a fight or flight or freeze. Or fawn. Or fan or fawn.
It's fawn.
Fawn. What is that?
It's like people pleasing.
Oh. I want more for you. I hope that you find a peace in time, but I don't think that's fair. I don't think it's right.
Yeah, I was just thinking about it too, and I was like, man, she also lost a child, you know? Yeah. And so like there is a level of grief and depression that you probably are combating every day, but you don't even know I don't even know if you fully have the opportunity to process and deal with your emotions, because you are like, we as parents in general, when we're going through something, we constantly have to show up for our children. But you're not only having to show up for your child, you're also having to show up for your husband, who, like, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think sometimes we do have to show up for our spouses, but like in a different way, like more of an emotional support. And yes, sometimes we're cooking the meals and helping take care of certain things. I don't know. I just think this is different. You know what I'm saying? Like when we're grieving, we show up for each other in a certain way. And it seems like we show up for each other poorly, but also we show up for each other. And so I think that she's doing a lot of showing up and there's no one showing up for her. And there is going to become a point where she's depleted. And she does need to be able to show up for that child. And I'm assuming the child is less than 4 years old. So they require quite a bit from us at that age. And I do believe that it is worthwhile to take space and focus on your own like healing and get some spiritual guidance, get a therapist in order to walk through this next season, and whether or not that means it's going to be with him or without him. But yeah.
And the question is like, does it get better? And
yeah,
I think
that is her email title.
I think it does, but not this way.
Yeah.
Like, you can't pretend that nothing happened. You gotta you gotta feel that. I can't be in the same place with you. I can't trust you with my accounts. You deplete my money. You deplete the money that we have. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't trust you. I don't trust you. You know what I'm saying? You're not a safe space for me. You know, and this is the same advice I would give to someone who is being physically abused, because I feel like this is emotional abuse. You know what I'm saying? But this is not marriage advice. Please go see a counselor.
Yeah.
You need to talk to a therapist 100%. I wouldn't even waste the money on him. I just talk to somebody yourself.
Yeah.
Hopefully a Christian
therapist,
or
counselor,
some sort, because even the Christian therapist, sometimes therapists be tripping too. Sometimes therapists be like, man, you're a therapist? You know what I'm saying? Like, so, yeah. Sheesh. How do we even freaking...
I'll send an email back. What are you saying? How do we what?
I'm sad now.
Oh, sorry. Let's go into a question. Let's change the vibes and let's go towards entrepreneurship. Okay. The email is titled "Tired of This World."
Seems like another heavy one.
Sorry. I just want to say, y'all, my name is spelled Yveette. Spelled with a Y. That's it. That's all. Just saying. All right. Hello, you two. I've been a longtime listener since BELEAF started vlogging as a stay-at-home dad, and this is my first time writing to you guys. I'm a 35-year-old Black male with a wife and 2 beautiful toddler daughters. I'm at the dilemma where Glenn was having at multiple jobs. I've been with FedEx, UPS, trying to work for the county, etc. I graduated in 2007, but I do not have a degree in college because I went straight to work. I was recently forced to put my 2 weeks in. I chose to work overnights because childcare is expensive and we just can't afford it. I work from 6 to 2:30 a.m. Wow. This puts my family in a very tight space of either being in the opposite days with my wife from where I'm working overnight, but the time I'm off, I will be only having about 2 to 3 hours of sleep before my lovely girls decide to wake up at 6 a.m. every morning. Okay. Wow. This has put my health at risk doing this for so long that my job doesn't think that this is a good idea. With this being my last week, my wife got a new job that is stressing her out and not sure if she wants to continue to work. She has been the breadwinner since we started dating, and now she is tired and would like to do something she actually has a passion for. We're both not risk takers. At this point, I will have to get 2 jobs so that she's able to stay at home, to be a stay-at-home parent, which I'm fine with. I'm great with people face to face, but I'm burned out from 10 plus years of customer service and I hate sales. I've been interested in things such as being a software engineer and thinking about going back to school, but now that's off the table if I have to work 2 jobs also. I have had a passion for making cartoons since I was a kid, but it never went anywhere. Long story short, I feel lost at my age and I want to do better for my family, but I feel like the economy is not allowing that at this moment. I believe that God will work it out and he always has. It's just extremely tough this time around. My default saying is I have to do what I have to do. It doesn't matter if I like it or not. I know I have to provide for my family and now I'll have to hold my family up. Glenn, how did you find your it factor? Did you fall into this or was it something you had to look for? If you guys need more context, I would be happy to do a follow-up email. Thanks for reading. Wishing you and the family the best.
Love this email, man. Love this. You know, I remember those days feeling like I wanted to call in a bomb threat
Gosh.
to my job just to get off a half day because I hated the position. Selling diabetes lancing devices at a call center. Hated it. Not to say if that's what you do, that is bad, but that's what I hated to do. I understand. How did I find my it factor?
You overstand.
I overstand. Truly overstand. I had 27 jobs. I overstand. Trust me.
Really? Wait, that's a true number, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it might be more than that.
I forgot.
If you
about
take into
that.
like DJ, like
Mm-hmm.
consultant, all this stuff. Right. So let me tell you something real quick. I'm a free spirit. Okay.
Are you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Say more.
In my life, personally, but now that I have a family, I'm not so much. But there was a time where, man, the it factor came from my wife asking questions. Oh, the Lord will give you somebody who gets just enough on your nerves to make a change in your life. Let me tell you. I had to change a little bit. I'm just joking. I had to change a little bit. You being a not a risk taker, it's going to be a problem because it's not going to be a problem. Okay. There's a few things, right? If you want to like change your world, like your life, and you don't want to be stuck in the same situation, like you're going to have to take a risk and do something different, or you're just going to continue to be in the same cycle. I think that it's really easy for us as men to just allow our spouses to kind of make the decisions instead of us being like, that's not how we're moving. We're moving here. A woman is attracted to a man with a plan. A man with a plan. What's the plan, bro? My wife asked me, what's your 5-year plan? I had no clue. The fact that I didn't have a plan bothered me because I didn't realize that that was a standard for being a husband. Like having a plan is like essential, right? What are you going to eat today? What are you going to wear? What are the things you're going to accomplish today, right? And if everything you have on your schedule is dictated by what someone else has done, what's been purchased, what is available right in front of you, and what your boss has on your objective, then you have to put something on your own schedule. Okay. When you start to put things on your own schedule, it says that I'm going to take charge of my life and I'm going to put myself in the right direction. Okay. I'm going to put myself in a direction that puts me to where I want to go. So if you have a passion for animation, or making cartoons, I don't know what that means, right? That can mean anything. That can mean you like to doodle, you like to draw, or you actually know how to make visual effects, or you actually know how to make cartoons. It's a very viable career. The thing is about people who are winners, right? They don't do, Kenny the Jet Smith said this. I just said this to Theo today. They do, like winners and champions, they do the things that people do on occasion, they do it every day, right? So if someone's like, oh man, I want to start a YouTube channel. Yeah, I want to do that. And occasionally you might make a video, you might record something. That's what everybody does. But if somebody wants to do that as a career, as a life, and wants to be one of the best, they're going to do that every single day. I'm going to shoot video every day. I'm going to tell story every day. I'm going to make music every day. Like I'm going to do it until I don't know how to do it, right? This is a Kanye quote, but he said, he was making 5 beats a day for 3 summers. 5 beats a day for 3 summers. That's a different world, like pre-summers, right? Like you got to be on a different wave. Because we was talking about this on a live earlier. Like you can operate in your today, like you can operate into your today, but you gotta hope for something, right? And if your hope is like, man, it's gonna make me sick, I don't know what, I can't sit here and wonder what happened to my life if I don't take a risk. Everything I do is risky, right? Selling our home and moving to a farm is risky. Right? We risked a lot by doing that. Starting a YouTube channel was risky. Going into music was risky. Hiring a bunch of people was risky. Real risky. Getting an office was risky, right? And so now that I'm sitting in the position I'm in, I'm not like, look at how all these risks worked out for me. I'm like, some of them decisions was dumb. Some of them things was stupid. I didn't need to do that. That was ridiculous. But I know that now. Some of the people I let go, I shouldn't have let go. I should have stayed with them. I should have let them make mistakes under me because they were valuable people. I let them go because I was immature. That was a risk. I was willing to risk a relationship. Like, you got to understand that the risks that you're going to take are going to lead you to where you're going to go. Okay? Similar to the lady we were just talking to in the previous email. Risk your peace. Risk it. Why not? Why not? Like,
wow.
We you know what I'm saying?
Risk your peace. That might need to be a t-shirt.
Risk your peace. Like, I'm putting my peace. I can't risk that. I'm
making this decision. I'm making this risk so I can have peace.
I gotta do that. I deserve that, right? And so the it factor was a series of questions I was asking myself. Yvette's question didn't give me my it factor. The what's your 5-year plan? It exposed the fact that I didn't have a plan, right? There's questions you've been asking yourself your whole life. And right now, the only thing other than yourself has been asking you that question is your bills. What we gonna do, bruh? What we gonna do? Your body is tired. What we gonna do, bruh? Right? I wrote a song, and it was on my last album called In Fatherhood, right? This last album is called Activate. And the song is, what's it gonna take to activate you, little boy? And that was a song I wrote to myself. What's gonna have to happen to you to activate yourself? What is going to have to happen to the people around you? Who's going to have to die? Who's going to have to get cancer? Who's going to have to struggle? Who's going to have to lose their house? What's going to happen? What's going to have to happen to your children to activate yourself and live what you say you live, you believe? You are proof of exactly what you believe, 100%. You are proving it right now. Oh, I ain't got no faith. Oh, I'm scared. All right. But can you be brave, though? Can you prove that?
Coming on a little strong.
I'm sorry.
If I were on the other side of this, I'd be like, oh, shoot.
I got to snap out of it, man. My bad, bro.
No.
You know, let me say something.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe I'm just a woman and I'm like, give him a hug.
No. He's trying to solve everything like Raya. Can I have a hug? Listen, first of all, man, I want to say truly I do understand. Like, I understand from a deep place of not knowing where I belong and listening to other people and having King's Dream or the Dream Junkies determine where I was going to be. You know what I'm saying? I remember when Yvette's brother got signed at Interscope. Yvette's brother got signed at Interscope, and they wouldn't let me into the meeting room because there wasn't enough space. And only John and Ruslan could go up to the meeting room. And I was waiting downstairs at the Interscope office, and they came down and they were like, we're going to sign John. Ruslan's going to be the manager and you're going to be the DJ. And that was what they had planned for me. Mind you, I'm like 6 months into starting Belief in Fatherhood. And I was like, I'm not doing that. I hate DJing. Like, I hate it. That was the best plan for that season based on what those people saw when they looked at us. Ruslan's going to be the manager. John's going to be the star. You're going to be the DJ. And I'm so glad that I didn't take that route. You know what I'm saying? I think it worked out for what it was supposed to do. Especially in my favor. You know what I'm saying? Like, I believe that I decided at that moment, I'm not doing that. And that would have been a very valuable career, I think, maybe. Maybe I could have made some money. You know what I'm saying? I could have played the background. Probably could have still do my Belief in Fatherhood thing, but I'll be on the road all the time. It's different, but that wasn't what was going to define me, right? And so when you don't have a plan in your life, other people's opportunities seem like the best thing to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you really want to do cartoons, like, do cartoons. Like, that's a viable career if you did that. I do believe that you can execute the things in your mind, but not if you're going to wait for other people to give you permission to do it. You know? And I fell in love with the process. I knew that there was a hole in the market. There wasn't a lot of fatherhood content on YouTube, especially Black fatherhood. Almost none. There was nothing done cinematically. There was no shots in the car. There wasn't like a lot of like, yo, Black stay-at-home father? What? Just me and LaGuardia Cross. So I knew it was a wide open market, and all I had to do was be consistent. And then I knew I had an unfair advantage. I could rap my behind off, and I could make songs really fast. So I had like my own little ingredient, and nobody saw it. Everyone was looking at me like, what? Black fatherhood? So what? You know what I'm saying? But like, now everybody does it. It's such good content everywhere. And I'm proud of that. Like, I'm glad that everybody's doing it. Like, it's successful. And we are proving that Black fatherhood matters. All of us. Even people I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Respectfully, you're asking me, you know, what it took. It took a lot. I was up whenever the kids weren't up. I was inspired. I chose to work, you know, and get barely any sleep to make the videos. And it was super hard, but man, I miss those days.
Really?
Ooh. Yeah, I miss those days.
Mm.
Life was so simple.
Mm.
And a lot more simple. I mean, if I could go back with this mind frame in that season, I would be unstoppable. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
What are you smiling for?
I think I miss those days too. I miss Ascot Drive sometimes.
That's crazy.
I feel like life was a lot simpler back then, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Even though it didn't feel like it in the moment.
Yeah.
It was a good life.
Mm-hmm. This life isn't.
No, this life is still a good life. It just has more challenging challenges. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
You know how like back then it just felt like it was such a big deal. Everything felt like it was like, oh my gosh. Yeah, you know, like everything just feels monumental in the moment.
Right now?
No, well, right now it feels like a lot. I'm not going front. There's a lot on my plate, but yeah, I don't know. Like life is good now. I feel like it's what's the word I'm looking for? It's simple, isn't it? But simple is what at the tip of my tongue.
I feel like life is simplified.
Simplified. Yes. Life is simplified. That's the word.
Like we know what life looks like, and this may make no sense mathematically.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
What you about to say?
But like, let me figure out the numbers.
Oh, Lord.
So.
Don't make me mad now.
Okay.
Okay.
So I feel like right now we're living 1/5. Right?
Okay.
But like before, I feel like we were like 5/25.
Babe, that's still 1/5.
I know, but it's a lot more.
It's simplified. It's like a simplified fraction. Got it.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yes, it's definitely life is simplified. We are down to the basics. It's like we didn't need all the other stuff.
I'm at home.
We are here. We have what we need. It's right here in our hands. Now we just have to be good stewards.
Yeah, we good, and we need to get rid of some more stuff.
We do.
And that's all that is.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah. I completely align with that. I love that. I'm going to stick with that. Simplified. Life is a lot more simplified now.
Yeah.
How married are you, my love?
I'm so married. The other night, the kids finished their hockey game and you wanted me to go get you some wine and cookies. So I went to the store and I went to go get wine and cookies, and I was looking for this specific brand. And
I sent him pictures because I was like, don't you dare come back here with...
let me tell you something. I couldn't find nothing.
Really?
Yeah, because the frozen food section, I thought that's where the cookies would be.
Yeah. Oh, no, it's in the...
refrigerated section. And I didn't know that. So when it said, the aisle says cookies. So the cookies were in, the dry cookies were in one side, and then the frozen ice cream and pizza and all that stuff was on the other side. And then I kept walking around the freezer section looking for the cookies, and they were not there. And it was like, Albertsons closed in 7 minutes.
7
Please
minutes?
bring up your
Oh,
final
shoot.
options. And I'm sitting there like, hey. So I go in there and finally find the cookies. I grab the cookies, and I'm like, okay, now the wine. I go into the wine section, going around and around and around a circle. I couldn't find the daggone Stella
Oh,
Rose.
my
So I had to look for it, and I asked somebody for help. And with the pressure of him watching me look, I found it.
That always happens.
And then it was like, we have 3 minutes left.
Oh,
So
no.
I took it over, went in there, and then got your stuff.
Thank you, babe.
You're
I
welcome.
appreciate
How
that.
married are you?
Oh, my goodness. So I'm still married. Last night, I was making said cookies. So
Oh,
I like
man.
the break and bake cookies, so you don't have to you can just get a couple of cookies at a time. Now, I don't tend to get a couple. I tend to get quite a bit. So Glenn was like, I was like, Glenn, you want in on this? Or he said it, actually. And
I
he
said,
was
are
like,
you making cookies?
he said, are you making cookies? I'll take 3. And so I was making cookies, and I baked cookies for myself, the amount that I wanted, that shall remain nameless. And then I baked him 3 cookies. Well, by the time, now mind you, the cookies only take 11 minutes to bake, y'all. Just 11 minutes. By the time the cookies were done baking, you could just hear coming from the other room. This man was asleep. He was knocked out. And so I'm so married, I ate his 3 cookies.
Plus whatever you have for yourself.
And that's just how married we are.